G'day and welcome to another edition of Hef's Homebrew. Well, today we're going to attempt to answer the age-old question: what is the best way to package and consume your homebrew? Is it in the keg or is it in a bottle? Well, I've got a sample of my Australian lager that I've pulled off the keg here, and I've also got a long neck, same brew. We'll crack it on open, give it a pour, and we'll see how they compare. So this one, force carbonated in the keg. This one, bottle carbonated using carb drops. This is the first. I bottled a few of them. This is the first one that I've tried. Just conditioned at ambient temperature, and then it's been in the fridge for a couple of weeks. All right, let's have a look at the appearance. Pretty similar. The one in the bottle is more highly carbonated. Worth noting though that the one in the keg obviously was poured a few minutes ago. Clarity, pretty similar. The one out of the keg appears to be clearer to me. In terms of the head, look, obviously the one out of the bottle is poured with a great big head there. Some of the bubbles are quite big, so it is dissipating. And the colour of the head is not the same. The one out of the keg is a bright white. The one out of the bottle, I'd say, is an off-white. The aroma, it's a nice sweet malty aroma with a touch of that pride of Ringwood hop, that distinct Australian lager flavour and aroma that we all know and love. It's a different aroma. That is a different aroma. Oh, less of the malt coming through, and it's not that it's been replaced by hops, but it's got a different note to it. That's really interesting. All right, taste, the most important part, of course. Go away. Got him. All right. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this has developed in the keg. It's become a really nice, clear, golden appearance. I've had a few people now who I've given a schooner or two to, and they've been very impressed. It's a really refreshing, easy drinking Australian lager. It's a nice hit of sweet malt. Not a great deal of bitterness, but enough there to know that you're drinking a beer. Bit of dryness about the finish, makes you want to go back for another sip. And as I said before, the Pride of Ringwood hops gives it that distinct Australian lager aroma and taste. Let's see what it's like out of the bottle. Yeah, more carbonated. Definitely more carbonated. So I just went with the set and forget method. Set it at 12 psi, and there she stayed. This one's a bit higher than that. No science really to the way that I bottle condition. It's just 2 carb drops in a 750ml glass bottle. There is a slight difference in terms of the taste as well as in the aroma. There's a It's a sharpish note. It's hard to describe. Yeah, it's definitely there. I mean, if you were just drinking it from the bottle into a glass, you'd think, yep, all good. It's a nice beer. But when you compare it to what's come out of the keg, it's definitely different. Better or worse, not too sure, but it's different. It's got just this sharpish note to it. I'm not sure if this is the right way to describe it, but it's almost, and it doesn't linger. It comes and goes. It's almost just a white wine type of note. Yeah, really interesting. People will say that certain beers, of course, are better suited to bottle conditioning and aging than others. Pretty common for people to say that a stout especially is something that is looked favourably upon in terms of bottling, something that you can put away for 6 to 12 months and age, whereas something that's lighter, especially something that's hoppy, better off in the keg, especially if you're doing an oxygen-free transfer. I'm not. A lager like this, well, you need to be able to, ideally you're going to be putting it away and lagering it. Does it make a difference if it's in the keg or in the bottle? I've got to say, I'm preferring it from the keg. I'm getting some lacing on the glass, not as much from the bottle. Maybe it needs more time in the bottle, I'm not sure. It's been a while. It's smoother. It's smoother out of the keg, definitely. I prefer the head from the keg. It's a bit tighter, it's a bit creamier. I like the lacing. There's something about pouring, obviously, your own beer from a tap as opposed to just pouring it out of the bottle. In terms of the process, look, I'm not someone who, as I've said before, brews super frequently anyway. So to be honest, I never, and when you don't have anything to compare it to, I never really found bottling a massive chore. You'll see online people complaining about it, saying how time consuming and arduous and monotonous it is. I never particularly minded it. If I was doing it more frequently, then maybe I'd have a stronger opinion. But even with that, I can say that, yeah, it's much easier just washing and sanitizing one vessel, i.e. the keg, as opposed to 24 plus long necks, even more if you're doing stubbies, which is why I never exclusively use stubbies. So my preference in terms of answering the question, what's better? I think my preference is for the keg. I know there are always going to be a number of factors that go into the decision that each home brewer will make, whether to keg or whether to bottle. There's costs, there's startup costs, there's storage, a whole lot of individual factors. So you've got to ask yourself those questions. If you've got the capacity to keg, then yeah, I think I would recommend that option. Anyway, cheers. In other news, if you watched the brew day and the original review of the Aussie Lager, I did talk about my fermentation fridge. I have got a new one arriving tomorrow actually, so hopefully we'll have another brew on soon. But until then, enjoy, cheers, and we'll catch you next time on Hef's Homebrew.